Just looks like trainers are locking in, getting ready to go for this winners round 2 in Group A.
And we will see a lead that will be not so great for P4T0M4N, but amazing for Normaalhein. Exactly where you want to see the Quagsire against that Superior here, Shine Superior as well. And the immediate stop out into the Altaria to face off now against the Licky.
Now looking at the team of P4T0M4N here, he's running what we actually call a very simple ABB lineup here. So he's got 2 flying type Pokemon in the back. He had a bad lead with that Quagsire, swapped out to the Altaria, and he drew out one of the harder flying counters in that Licky.
Yeah, and here we are going to have the body slam spam now from the Licky, getting the shield early from P4T0M4N. This is exactly what Normaalhein wants to see here. He wants to kind of, course, keep that alignment because there are going to be 2 flying type Pokemon, and I don't think Superior really wants to go up against them. And that's kind of interesting, this kind of thing for P4T0M4N's lineup. You kind of have a lot of options to run ABB, as we would say, where you have 2 very similar Pokemon in the back, and like Pokemon pairs well with them in the lead. And here, for example, we have 2 flying type Pokemon in the back, and that Quagsire in the lead. And of course, Quagsire wants to be protected from the grass type damage, but so far that wasn't really successful.
Going for that charge attack priority, knowing that he would win it there, wants to try to keep an alignment because that Superior would just wreck the Quagsire. Puts up both Protect Shields in this mid matchup there, trying to secure this matchup. But an immediate pivot out by Normaalhein to that Malamar, has to take a Sky Attack for the efforts.
This is going to be very difficult now because P4T0M4N was able now to get the Quagsire away from the Superior. And of course, we know already that there's going to be another flying type Pokemon in the back, and this is going to be a very tough matchup. In comes now the Awkward Tail, charging a bit faster there as well. Awkward Tail is going to do quite a bit of damage here.
Going ahead, and I think if you're P4T0M4N, I was going to say you probably don't even want to use a Protect Shield, but never mind, there's no Protect Shields even to be used in this matchup. Normaalhein going for that foul play. It's going to do a nice chunk of damage. Superpower is another attack that Malamar has, but it will lower his own attack and defenses, so he wants to try to keep it as healthy as possible for what's coming back in.
Well done from Normaalhein as well, though, because he was just able to go for the foul play at the exact same time as the Quagsire would have went for the Awkward Tail. And in comes now the final Pokemon. Normaalhein is not going to be happy here whatsoever, because you're going to go up against a Corviknight, and the only Pokemon with HP in the back that you have is a grass type Pokemon.
A pure grass type Pokemon. That able to hang on to the air cutter, but now getting sniped down with the Dragon Breath of Altaria. Great pivot by P4T0M4N. They're getting it out before the attack could be going off, and now in comes the Superior. As a reminder, there is a little bit of a Licky left in the back that could be used as a potential sacrificial swap. We'll have to see how this will play out. Meantime, air cutter number 2 going through.
Yeah, but like, what are you going to do as Normaalhein now? Are you going to try to go for the debuff option here? Are you just going to play it out? I think he's just going to commit to not throwing any charge moves here, because he knows there's no way you break through as a grass type Pokemon against a flying and steel type Pokemon. And acknowledging this as well is kind of where you can maybe take the time and prepare already for the next battle that's coming up afterwards, as even here the Corviknight gets that attack boost. And this is going to be it for the first one. Yeah. But I want to kind of highlight here as well on how well P4T0M4N played this and how well the Shadow Altaria did.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a really, really great play by them. And a lot of times you have to wonder, if you only have 2 shields in the game, where do you want to use them? Both of those trainers recognized how important that mid part of that matchup was. Both of them wanted to try to keep that alignment. P4T0M4N, you notice he threw right at that charge attack priority with that Licky, and both of them still used a Protect Shield on a very, very low health Pokemon, trying to secure that mid-game matchup.
Yeah, this is exactly where the Shadow Altaria really was shining there, and this is why maybe some players are running the Shadow Altaria, because you have in that 2-shield scenario a little bit more pressure against the opponent. It was all about the mid-stage matchup there. This decided the entire battle, because of course you had, as Normaalhein, a fantastic lead there. You had the grass type against the water and ground type, exactly what you want to see. But then against Altaria, you might think, okay, I have the answer here. I have that Licky. But it actually didn't work out for him.
I mean, that was something that I think that was a really, really good call out. And also just the fact that Normaalhein might be thinking now, okay, if that Altaria comes in, I know that Licky is my best answer to it, but if there's something like that Corviknight again in the back, he already knows that he's going to lose that mid-game matchup if they play it out the same. So I wonder if that will cause them, you know, to rethink the alignment. If an Altaria does come in that safe swap again, How do you counter it?
Yeah, that's the question. I do think that you kind of have to start off with Elite, most likely. That is not that weak against a Altaria. So, like, even then, if P4T0M4N is going to lose the lead matchup, Normaalhein can maybe weaken up a little bit the next upcoming matchup with the lead already, and then swap out into the Licky. That's what I thought as well in the first matchup. He could have even tried to go for a Leaf Tornado against the Altaria just to hope for the attack drop, but then again, it's a 50% chance that you're not going to get it a lot of times. It's just a very high risk reward thing there, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting. The player's definitely going to adapt towards it now as well, but I do think that again, for P4T0M4N, it's quite safe to bring that Altaria as a safe because there's no real direct answer.
Yeah, I completely agree there, and we saw how it played out with that Licky, which is actually looks like in the lead now for Normaalhein, up against Azumarill. Azumarill is one of the Pokemon that's truly been around since the beginning of Pokemon Go PvP. Its pacing is quite slow with the bubbles, but is able to tank a lot of different attacks and being able to set up its Pokemon in the back.
This is a very neutral matchup here, which basically is always the case if you run Licky in the lead. It's just basically the Pokemon is the most neutral. But the thing is here as well, of course, the Azumarill would have been for Normaalhein better up against that Aegis Slash, which we see now fighting in the back there as well, because you're going to be able to resist the damage here. This is going to be very neutral. You have like just neutral damage coming from both players' side there, and we see the body slam because 2 Shadow Balls are not enough to knock out the Azumarill anyway, so why not go for a body slam first?
Going for that extra bit of pacing there, going to be able to go for that next rollout and a Shadow Ball. P4T0M4N's going straight for the play rough. This is going to be the heavier hitting damage and actually gets that first Protect Shield off of Normaalhein, which kind of surprises me because if there's an Aegis Slash, I feel like a lot of trainers like to save their shields for that. But in the meantime, P4T0M4N maybe does him a bit of a favor, swapping out into that Corviknight, so Normaalhein gets to see the next Pokemon in line and also throw a Shadow Ball, a heavier hitting attack at it.
Maybe P4T0M4N doesn't expect to see that Aegis Slash here in the back, because what you have here as P4T0M4N is you actually have a lot of coverage against Pokemon on the team. Now you basically have with nearly all the Pokemon other than the Azumarill some super effective damage that can go up against Pokemon, and so maybe you don't expect it in the back, and this could be maybe a decider for this game here as well. If you don't expect it, you end up with the Azumarill there against the Aegis Slash. That might be very good for Normaalhein.
Eric Hunter #1 going through there. We might see an aggressive side wave down there, but actually going for that heavier hitting payback here. No Protect Shield used at this point on Normaalhein. Doesn't quite knock out. He's going to come out with a ton of energy. Altaria's coming in here. Not much Malamar can do against it. Just trying to throw off, but actually getting the Protect Shield from P4T0M4N's side.
Getting the Protect Shield here is actually crucial because you kind of want to get them down, because you can at least, you can install like 3 moves of course with something like the Aegis Slash, but if you can get up now to 2 Shadow Balls, there's nothing that can really take it now. But the issue is here, we have a Shadow Altaria with super effective damage here off that Flamethrower, and this is doing so much still, even against the Aegis Slash. Yeah, you maybe can take another one, but again, you pace so slowly here as the Aegis Slash.
I mean, this is the thing. Aegis Slash in shield form can tank things rather heavily. It's when it gets into the blade form, which we'll see as soon as the Shadow Ball goes through. It's when it can't take attacks very well. I think that's what Normaalhein is saving his shield for, but P4T0M4N puts up a Protect Shield against his Shadow Ball. Could be doing a ton of damage here, and he's already at another attack. Throwing it right now, going for the Sky Attack bait and getting that last Protect Shield.
This is going to be a close matchup. Of course, you're going to generate a bit more energy as the Sword form, so we're closer now to the next Shadow Ball, and now the Shadow Ball would be able to knock out the Altaria. Do we see the swap? We see the swap out here, but on both players as the Licky knocks out the Corviknight.
Oh, this is looking back and forth good for Normaalhein here, because the thing is that Aegis Slash is going to win charge attack priority over anything, but at the same breath, will he be able to get up to another attack? Because he's going to need something for both the Azumarill and the Altaria.
Yeah, and here the Flamethrower is stored. And as we see here, you sadly are not going to be able to get the move off here first. This is going to do so much damage. It's going to be able to knock out the Aegis Slash with this Flamethrower. Altaria is just not beatable so far. And Shadow Altaria won both games here.
Going ahead now, P4T0M4N taking a 2-0 victory early on in winners round #2 here in Utrecht, showing, okay, I know that Aegis Slash won both Prague and Los Angeles. I'm not afraid of it so far. This is how I play. This is how I win international championships. Continue on that winner's side of the bracket.
Very dominant performance.